Welcome to Spline Science! If you're getting into more mountaineering style objectives or more technical climbs, you're going to want an ice axe. The first ice axe I'm going to show you guys is a general mountaineering axe. This is kind of the go-to axe for everyday adventures along those styles. You don't need an ice axe every day, you just need it when you need it. So general mountaineering ice axe has a rounded pick, very helpful for self-arrests. It has an adze, it has a straight or bent shaft, a spike, and may or may not have trigger rest. The head generally is made out of steel. Steel is much more versatile than aluminum. Will go into ice a lot better, deal with rocks a lot better, but it is also heavier. But this axe right here is kind of my go-to axe day to day when I need an ice axe. For someone my size, so I'm 6'2", this axe is actually very short. This one's 52 centimeters. I would normally, in a general mountaineering context, be in like a 60 or 65 centimeter axe. But this is an axe that I'm going to use in steep couloirs, steeper approaches, more technical climbing, and also potentially ride down with it. So I don't want a big long pig roasting shaft on it. I just want something short and manageable that'll work in those situations. If I'm on a long ski traverse, or I'm kind of in a situation where I'm like, I don't know if I really need an ice axe today, but maybe I take a much lighter weight ice axe around with me, and this one has an aluminum head on it. The aluminum head is significantly weaker than steel. It does go into ice, but not that well. It's mostly an axe that I use for plunging and the occasional self-arrest situation. But this is a great axe to have when you're like traveling long distances, or you're like, I don't really know if I need an axe. My third tool is a tool that I take when I'm going for much more technical climbing objectives, and I know I'm going to need a secondary axe. The tool I use for that is Petzl Gully. It has a banana-shaped pick, which kind of like bends the other way. It's much thinner, much narrower, works really good on ice and comes out of the ice really nicely, but it's not quite so good at self-arresting. This particular axe has a hammer, which is useful for certain types of rock protection. An axe that I need to ride down with, I'll probably take this one if I can, purely because there's one less sharp point on there. And again, this one has kind of a modified spike on the end. The fourth option is a black diamond whippet. So the whippet screws into the top of the ski pole. Kind of has an extra little triangle on there for extra purchase in snow, so it's actually fairly nice for self-arresting. Pick is made out of steel and it's quite nice, but you can't use this as like a full-on axe and like hang off the handle or anything. But for self-arresting and having a second tool, just kind of like as I'm going up a couloir, maybe I have an ice axe and this ski pole in my hands. Gets to a little steeper section, suddenly I have two picks in my hands and I'm able to kind of like power through that little steep section, and then I can go back to just using that pole kind of for support, and then use my ice axe as the main plunging tool. That's my quiver of ice axes. I use those for more technical mountaineering style objectives, and the rest of the time, ideally, I just leave them at home.